It's 5 o'clock and you're off the Cockle Beast Guy. Now today we have as our guest Big Sarge. All right, you might know him from Channel 4 Fishing Report or The Buzz. He's a Lake Fort guide. All right, so he's gonna give us fishing tips. He's gonna give us, what the fish are doing right now. We're gonna talk about LiveScope, the good, the bad, the ugly. A little bit about a Lunker program, maybe here in Arkansas. But before we get into it, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Now let's get started.
Yeah, you got to find the fish. You got to make them compete. Mm-hmm. If you find a school, they'll compete, and you put that bait in front of them, and they'll fight for it. But the ones that are out there, I like to call them bogeys. You're sitting out there in 40 foot of water, and one's sitting there at 10 foot and getting her to hit. I mean, it's
hit or miss.
That's right.
They'll either do it on the first time, or they won't do it at all.
Yeah.
Shit, I'd be throwing out like 15 different rods at them. Like, you got to bite something.
And what I notice is I have a fish to be like on a stump or something and have some fry around. Mm-hmm. And it's like you'll throw on that fish and your bait will be falling in and it'll go up and hit it. And it's like if you don't catch it on that first initial hit, it's like the likelihood of getting that fish to bite again in a short amount of time is really slim.
Yeah. Have y'all done this? We discovered this during the big spawn at Fork. So let's say this is your screen and you're looking out 75 and let's say you're 30 feet deep. When I come up on a stump and I'm aiming at it, I bring it all the way up to 5 feet and I shrink it down to 30. Now I can almost see that fish breathe.
Yeah, we do that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's a neat little thing when they're spawning.
Just taking it in right there close.
Yeah.
And we're rolling now. I mean, we're just...
Oh, we're on right now?
Yeah, we're just slowly going into it.
Okay.
Just get it rolling.
So you throw down in there and you get real close where you can actually hit him in the head,
Yeah.
And a lot of times, like some fish, like bed fishing, for example, right? Mm-hmm. You got a fish in a bed, it's swimming around the bed. It's like you'll sit there fish that fish so long that you start to figure out what that fish does. What its actions are. You'll figure out what it'll do whenever you throw past the bed and drag in. Okay, does this fish want me to throw it directly in the bed? And you start figuring them out. It's pretty cool.
So, and I just got off Lake Fork, and of course the elites were there. So when we don't guide during that time, we try not to because give them a little respect, right?
Right.
But if you can find the spawners and the brim are up there too, and they'll chase the brim off, they're mad, and you can almost flip up in there. Then they'll come up and look at it and just keep moving it and making her or him, it might be the buck, come and just knock the crap out of it. So that's cool.
Yeah, the fish ain't on beds no more, huh? I mean,
they're in 3 stages at Fork right now.
Really?
So when Hackney called yesterday, Greg Hackney called my show. He was catching spawning. Of course, there's a big post spawn right now. Mm-hmm. They'll move out to the points, secondary points. They'll move out to shell beds and stuff like that. That's why the crankbait was a player. I'm a huge jig guy, so I always throw a football jig, half ounce up to an ounce, and just drag it on those shell beds. And
what color do you like to throw?
I like a little chartreuse there, and so green pumpkin with a shade of chartreuse in it. Rage Crawl's one of my favorite trailers, and here's the thing about jig fishing, because that's where I made my money. I mean, that's where my thing is jig. I've got 100 different trailers, and so depending on how they act or my confidence, I'll just keep switching. And ever since Dustin Connell and Wheeler got into the picture with their baits, they work pretty good too. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Have you ever thrown a scrounger? Mm-mm. So Connell did real well on that scrounger. So put a freeloader on the back of her scrounger and just throw it and just swim it. It does this all the way back.
Right.
That's pretty cool.
It's basically a minnow. But
really?
It has like a little. So like it has like a bill. When you crank baby down, it goes up.
Yeah.
So it just makes it just go like that.
Kind of wiggles.
Yeah.
It's
basically jig head minnow.
So how big of an advocate are you on color? Because a lot of times, say we'll all 3 be on a lake and be fishing, and like say the bite's not real good. And then it's like there's a certain point where it just turns on. The conditions get right. And we're all catching them on different things, different colors. I mean, how big do you think color really plays a factor other than just dark and light colors?
Yeah.
Natural colors.
Right.
Yeah, of course, I like to chartreuse some of my trailers too. And so if the water's a little bit, got a little stain to it, it all depends. When I look at the water, I'm just going to look at if it's stained or clear or whatever. Right. Greer's Ferry, for instance.
Okay.
It's clear.
It is clear, but right now they've had so much rain that it's, it's a little stained. And so I'm going to throw something I think that will be flashy for them, you know. And a lot of it is like I said, I throw a lot of plastics, and so I'll chartreuse the tail or put a little red on it, you know, either way. I will tell you this, our fisheries get hammered a lot, and fishing line is huge. You ain't going to believe it, but they can see the line, as we know. And so it depends on what line you like to throw. I mean, you could throw at a fish with, let's just say, big game, and she comes up and looks at it and leaves it alone. Turn around, throw a 10-pound fluorocarbon, she hits it. You know what I mean? So it's fishing line has become huge, especially with the scopers and stuff.
Yeah, because you're getting heavily educated.
That very.
Especially if, like, when I know sometimes we'll get hung up on a fish scoping because we see the fish. We're trying to catch that fish. We know it's a good sized fish.
Yeah.
And it's not doing it. We're just educating, and it knows better, you know?
Well, and, you know, you got to think they can hear the pinging.
Yeah, they have to.
Yeah.
They
And
have
so
to.
a lot of those guys, when they get up there, they'll just shut everything off. And if you notice, if you watched the leech yesterday, these boats were pulling in on some of the guys that were leading. They'll tell them, turn off all your electronics. And so these fish are getting, especially our crappie, man. You know, when LiveScope and forward facing, whatever you want to say, came out, I knew it was going to be huge for crappie guys. They can go up to, and I've got crappie guys that actually call the show, crappie holics and stuff. And so Dustin down at Lake Greason, we know how clear Lake Greason is, right? So you can go up to a brush pile and you can pick it to death if you want to. But before LiveScope, what we didn't know is those fish said they got tired of it and they'll move about 10 feet left or right. So if we didn't have LiveScope, you're thinking, okay, well, we're done. Well, they're not done. They're just right there.
Right.
And I just knew it was going to be big. And I still say today that the game and fish has got to limit our fish.
Crappie especially.
Yeah. I mean, who wants to eat 30 crappie?
I don't know.
And so the size too. Now, I will say this. The guys that call my show will tell me straight up, if it's a big, huge female, take a picture of it, client, and send it back in the water.
Yeah.
So if they, if
And
they're
that's what
telling
we
the truth.
do.
Yeah.
That's what we do. We put our fish back.
Yeah, I mean, we don't keep any bass.
Oh, I ain't kept a bass in 30 years.
No.
I mean, we just go after,
I enjoy catching them.
Right.
Yeah.
Daryl, you keep them?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
I can knock the size off of them.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to do it.
Well, and here's the deal. Some of them will tell you, keep them 2-pounders,
Yeah, I mean, nothing big, just small ones.
Yeah.
But that's just the way I grew up, though. If I don't take some, my grandpa will be frowning on me.
That's right.
He called me the other day. He's like, y'all keep me those fish y'all caught? I'm like,
Yes. Yeah. You feel like you got a lot to him.
Yeah.
Oh, Papa, watching this.
Yeah.
He said, boy, you lied to me.
don't you throw them back.
I'm about to whoop your
I
ass.
say Grizz Ferry come a long ways with Kentucky's and smallmouth has really, the game and fish has done a good job with that.
Yeah.
So you can go out there and you can catch a 3 or 4 pound smallmouth where you couldn't 5 years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I also heard they're going to do the Lunker program.
Mm-hmm.
Here in Arkansas, yeah.
Supposedly.
Yeah.
When are they going to start that?
You don't like that idea?
I do love it, but here's the deal. We ever going to see it at our age? So here's the deal. Y'all know anything about Texas, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Share Lunker, they started years ago. Lake Fork, I'm saying Lake Fork because that's where I helped guide, had 200 brood ponds on it before they flooded it.
Okay.
All right? So once they got it where they thought the fish were 8 to 12 pounds, they flooded the lake in 1986. They blew holes in these ponds, and of course, that's where you want to go fish. You want to go fish during the spawn in them ponds because they can come and go out of that levee, it's underwater. So all the guides they all want to know exactly where those are at. Well, anyway, and then they started I'm thinking 16 to 24 is the slot. Okay, well, listen, a 23-inch fish is 8-pounder.
Yes.
You got to say hello and put her right back. Well, here, I ain't saying everybody, but they'll cut the sides out of them. That's what happened to Lake Monticello. It was great, and then they put the wrong fish in there, and then they had to drain it, and now they're redoing it. But there are lakes, Lake Conway being one of them.
Right.
I jack them around all the time because they ruined that lake by not getting the permits first to fix the dam. They drained it. All these people are mad that's around Lake Conway. Now they don't have a place to fish, blah, blah, blah. And so that would have been a good Share Lunker lake for sure. Not real deep, stays warm,
And it had big bass in it already.
Big
I've caught some
Yeah.
big ones. I
Big
went to college at UCA, and we used to go over there and catch some big ones.
Hey, since you went there, did you ever go to Beaver Fork?
Yeah, I went to Beaver Fork
Okay.
too. Yeah.
So-
That's when you pay $5, right? And it comes
Yeah.
up. Yeah, we went in there. We used to fish that little, Thursday night or Tuesday night, whatever it was.
Drop Shot, that's on my show. Everybody's got a nickname, by the way. So Eugene Moore.
Yeah.
He's you know Eugene?
I know Eugene. Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I did a boat safety Saturday, 2 days ago. And I went out there and I caught a 5-pounder. I mean, it's easy to catch fish there.
Yeah.
And now everybody's flooding from Lake Conway, going to Beaver Fork. Like
Yeah.
I said, you got to pay $5, but you know. Anyway,
It's worth it.
fun place.
We used to
Huge
go-
houses. Good Lord.
Man, yeah. We used to go to Conway. I just remember me and Ty, y'all met Ty.
Yeah.
And we used to go and you never crank the motor up. And you would just wear some good bass out
Really?
on Conway. You never crank your motor up. Just go down the bank, frog,
Really?
shaky head, green pumpkin. It would just
It's fun when it's like that.
Good jig fish place, too.
So what happened to
Stretching.
Lake Monticello? You mentioned something about Lake Monticello.
Yeah, so I had game and
What's your
fish on
opinion?
a couple, 3 years ago, whatever. I've been on 10 years, so it's been a little bit. And if y'all remember, they had to drain it, and there was a lot of problems. So, and I'll never say his name, but off the clock, we went outside, and he said, here's the problem. They were supposed to put Florida strain in there, and they dropped whites in there. Or hybrids.
wow.
And so now they're running crazy in there, so they had to drain it to get them out.
Wow.
So they dropped the wrong fish.
yeah.
And they wouldn't
That's
say that on
crazy.
live radio, but, and I don't know who's going to watch the podcast, but I don't want to bust them out. But that's what happened.
That's
And,
crazy.
Holy
yeah.
cow.
That's a big mess up.
Yeah,
It's a serious mess up.
yeah.
No kidding.
Costly. Very costly.
Well, it's not only
So
costing
what do you
them.
don't like about the Lunker program for Arkansas?
us, like,
what do you not
yeah.
like about it? I mean,
No, I do like it. I just don't know that we'll ever see it in our lifetime. I mean, we talked about this years ago, and we should have started something like this a long time ago so we can. I mean, look at the places that have share Lunker programs in Texas or wherever. Look at all the resorts and all the restaurants and all them that are getting the benefits off of this, and what we could do. And
so what do you
being-
mean by benefits for our viewers watching? What are you talking about benefits?
Well, for the community. Let's just take Lake Conway.
You talking about revenue?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Big
About
time.
extra revenue.
Yeah.
Big fish bring.
And
bring
and
people
you
in.
said something about it's it's not going to be in our lifetime, but it has to start sometime, right?
It is. It does, and I would love to see it. But you're right. Start it now. And I heard I heard about the biologist guy that was trying to start this. I don't know where I've seen it, but I said, it's great. Now you got to pick a lake first and figure it out. I mean, Atkins could be one of them. Poinsett, Conway, and Conway is the way it is right now. They drained it, so if they can figure out, they dropped some gravel over there. I don't know if they spread it out. Set that lake up for success, and it's going to take a while. It may 5 years down the road, maybe 10 years, and you just got to operate it the way they do there, and people can't keep fish, and you got to monitor it.
Yeah.
So
But I think the idea of it is that you catch a fish, take the eggs or
Yeah.
whatnot, and they hatch them. The success rate of that is it's in a controlled environment.
Yeah.
So you have a better chance of putting better quality fish in the water by controlling it. And I guess that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Catch a good quality fish. It's just like a deer, right?
Right.
Or a dog.
Yeah.
So they're just trying to put more fish, increase the chances of catching good quality fish.
And you're right about the revenue side of things as well.
It is gonna
It's
bring
like,
revenue.
big fish lakes. Everybody wants to go, plans a trip to go.
Like
have
how
a
many
chance
times
to
we
catch
go to
big
Texas?
fish.
We go to Texas all the time to fish. And
Right.
we do that because of the Lunker program.
Yeah.
I mean, we want to catch good quality fish.
I mean, I understand it completely.
And listen, we've watched this year alone that there's been some 10s. Millwood is a good place to catch a good fish, but look at what happened over Lake Fork the last 3 days of the elites. It took a 30-pound, at least a 30, maybe 34, 5-fish limit to even move on. That's pretty studdish.
It took a 40-pound bag in Toledo, didn't it?
I seen that Saturday. Yes,
Yeah,
5
in a
fish,
BFF.
40
Is that not
pounds.
In a
crazy?
Toyota.
Is that not amazing?
Is that not crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you
It's
give
insane.
somebody, you take a random guy and you give him a 40-pound day, a 40-pound sack day.
So let me
that's
ask
the
you
best
this.
of
What's crazy,
life.
So let me ask you this: how in the world that that like it's all this pressure? How in the world are you still catching 40-pound bags?
I just think, well, I don't know how those guys caught it, but just think what it unlocks. And I know we can use side imaging and all that good stuff, but look at the fish that was caught at Fork with the LiveScope. They're catching these post-spawn. Once the lake settled down, now they had the gates open. It was crazy. Lake Fork don't like current. Once it settled down, there was no current. The fish would just suspend off the bottom and they'd just chill. And I don't know how they caught them over at Toledo Bend. I'll find out Thursday because I'm fishing turbot down there. But I just think what we've got in electronics now has unlocked a secret that you can find these big ones. Those guys yesterday and Saturday, they wasn't looking for 5-pounders. They would pass up 3 to 5 pounders to find 8-pounders.
Right.
Well, we never done that before without electronics or without LiveScope.
No, I agree.
I still wouldn't do that. Catch a 5-pounder.
Yeah.
You have to catch a bunch of 5-pounders.
You have
get
to
the
be
point where
a
you're like,
stud to pass up a bunch of 5-pounders.
You look at McKinney, Trey.
Yeah.
He had, so day 1 he had like 33. Day 2 he had like 30 again. Day 3 is when he only had 21 pounds. And he's like, I don't know what happened, but I'm going to go catch it tomorrow. I passed up a bunch of stuff. And yesterday he had 38 in his best 5. So he had over 80 pounds of bass yesterday.
Yeah.
Big ones. He only had like 11 fish.
It was crazy.
That's
They said it was like the best day anybody's ever had.
Yeah.
But it didn't matter because he had a 21-pound sack. And
See,
he had 38 the last day.
that's crazy, man.
That's wild.
And
Isn't
he
it?
called it. He's like, I'm gonna catch nothing but big ones tomorrow.
You think that's why everybody hates forward facing? And I say not everybody, but obviously people that don't take the time to learn it hates it.
So we got 3 major circuits out there: NPFL, Bandit, Major League. You can use it for 1 period. Bassmasters, you can have it the whole time. And the word is Garmin bought into Bassmasters, so guess what? It's there. It's there to stay, right?
Yeah, it ain't gonna go nowhere.
But I watched Matt Herron's little podcast, and he's kind of been banned from fishing anymore because he spoke his mind. And his big thing is talking about the leadership at Bassmasters. They don't fish. They don't know anything about fishing.
But they're entertainers and they make money.
Yeah, we got to.
Yeah, that's right. So it doesn't matter.
And here's the deal. Here's the deal. People are saying, well, nobody's watching it. You know what? If you're going to make me keep it in Bassmasters, then put that 22 or 13 or 15-inch monitor back here so the camera can watch what he's doing.
Right.
So I can see you. Here's the thing. I'm tired of looking at his back. Well, you know what? Camera, go on his screen, and now you can see what he's doing. I think that would add to it.
It would definitely add an extra.
I see a lot of anglers doing that now.
Yeah.
And from getting their name bashed, I guess, maybe.
Yeah.
But
No,
yeah,
it would.
I mean,
It would be more entertaining.
people that
watching
don't
them.
use it don't understand.
But I think to me it's kind of cool though, because you look at some of these guys now, and like you really might see a 10-pounder anytime you turn live on, because
right.
they're literally finding them. And I think it's kind of cool because like some people throw a frog and flipping a bush every just watch people ripping like that. But it's kind of cool. You look at a guy and they put him on live like, hey.
Yeah.
He's looking at it.
And he's a sharpshooter.
Yeah, he's
he's hitting his shots.
Yeah, I've been through at some fish on LiveScope.
Yeah,
It's just not easy.
There's definitely a lot of talent behind it.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I used to go watch the Bassmasters and stuff. I remember Dad taking me out there, and I'd watch all the pros take off in their boats and all the Ranger bass boats. And so we started building boats and started this. It's taken most of my life up, my younger part of my life, but. We recently got back into bass fishing pretty hard, and all the new technology, it's made it fun. And I can't tell you if I had to go out there and throw the banks or just hope. I don't know if I would get into bass fishing. It makes it more like hunting a fish. You have options.
Yeah.
You could catch some small fish, you can go for some big fish, but it's rewarding for me.
Yeah.
So I think people that don't use LiveScope or don't take the time, if they're just judging the technology, I think they're missing out.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
I think they're missing out. Now I do think there's regulations should be. I think the number of fish you catch should be regulated. I think maybe in a pro level that you're fishing for money, it could be like they're doing now, either allow it or don't allow it. Whatever it is, people just make their mind up. But I think it's a good thing. I think it's getting more kids involved.
Yeah.
The younger anglers. So
there's
what?
tons of great young anglers that learned LiveScope really well.
Listen, I had Cole Pennington just won Hamilton by himself, and he didn't do it all by LiveScope, but a lot of it was Easton Gray's another 14-year-old. These kids are growing up on our LiveScoping, right?
Yep.
And they're freaking studs. I'm
They
telling
are
you,
studs.
they're winning these big tournaments, and they're 14 years old.
Well, they can play
Yeah.
video games too, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a good thing. It's changing.
You know, it's like the guy that in Major League Fishing. You know, on the day before the championship round, he the first 2 periods of it, you know, they only scoped 1 period. He never threw his pole in the water. He just went around and drove his boat around and found fish, like on side scan and down scan. And then the last period, he turned the scope on, and he came all the way from last place and got in 5th. Like, you know how much nuts you have to do that.
Well, you know, that's swinging for the fence. You know what I mean?
Yeah, not throw for
Forget the
5
double.
hours. Yeah.
To me, I mean, you're a military guy, right? So everything you do in life is a strategy.
Yeah.
So what's the difference? I mean, you have a strategy. You know, this guy, he had a plan. He did something no one else would do, and to me, he deserves it.
Yeah.
Because there's no way.
I mean, he deserves it.
The score tracker's going off, ding, 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 and you just sitting there driving around idling your boat.
Right.
I mean, to me,
Y'all still hear me?
yeah,
I hear you.
Okay.
yeah. You know, to me, that'd be awesome. Like, dude, that dude did something that no one else would do.
Yeah.
He deserves that.
He put everything on the table.
That's
Think
right.
about it, because he didn't. I mean, he literally did not throw a single pole until.
yeah,
his LiveScope
that's
period.
kind of like us in the boat business. We're like, well, let's do it.
And the strategy of
It sounds
fishing,
fun,
like,
you know.
the way that you learn, like what baits do what in the water now. I mean, it's just people are rapidly learning.
Yeah.
You know how to fish. I mean, it's for the game of fishing. LiveScope's taught so much.
Well, the crappie guides are definitely benefiting because they can change colors on the fly, and that's what you got to do with crappie. We all know they feed up, and so now I'm not dropping it past them. I'm keeping it in front of them. And I said this when it first came out. I said, watch out, because 5 years from now, where we used to catch crappie like crazy, we're not going to anymore because of this. Now, I could be completely wrong. Our pro guides out there could be, you know, limiting. But if you're going to keep it at 30 per person, well, guess what? They're going to catch 30. And then they're going to do that before lunch and take another client out and catch another 30.
Yeah, they need to.
Yeah,
They
it's
need to
wild.
stop that.
The crappie definitely. I can see catching 30.
In a small lake, my pros that call in, they'll tell you real quick that you can pick a small lake to death, and it will affect it. Now, Greer's Ferry or something like that, they keep telling me that they spawn so much that we'll never see
Now,
it go down.
Now, I can tell you this. Your expertise, what you're dealing with all the time, isn't what is on the lake.
Yeah.
Like, so you could take a live scoper like yourself or whoever that's really good at it, and you put a normal live scoping guy that just went to, you know, just got some equipment. He's not on the level that guy is. So a lot of times you got to really think about this.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we'll go fishing. How many times we've gone fishing? We have 25 pounds of fish in our live well, and the guy next to us at the boat ramp has the same equipment. He goes, man, I couldn't get a fish to bite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you also got to remember that too. There's a live scoper and there is a professional live scoper.
Yeah.
And to get onto the professional live scoping level is talent, because you got control of the boat, the wind, the color, everything. You got to know what to throw, when to change, or when to gamble. And an everyday Joe Blow guy, he doesn't know that.
Yeah. No, you're right.
And it
Position
takes
of
serious
the boat's
time.
Big time. Yeah.
He doesn't know that. So, I think the live scope does help everybody, but it's only a small portion of people that actually makes a difference.
Yeah.
You know, because it's just so hard.
Yep.
People think that shit's easy.
And it takes a lot of time to get to the point where
Yes.
you're really efficient with it.
I like it because I can look in front of me and find brush piles that I've never seen before.
And everybody can. Everybody can find
They can
that.
find- yeah.
But can they stay on that brush pile in
Yeah.
30 foot of water or 20 foot of water? No. Can they make the shot? No.
Yeah.
So and once they get hung up 2 or 3 times, they're going to give up on it.
Yeah, I've got to know where I like it when I'm just going down the bank and I was looking,
Yeah.
oh, there's one over to the right, and I stay over there and catch it.
Yeah.
It's freaking nuts.
It's crazy. You feel like for a second you're like, okay, I should probably not have caught that fish.
Well,
Yeah.
it's also
You know?
it's also a random. It's
I've
also
never seen that fish.
It's also the random toss too.
Yeah.
Like you're just going through there and you're on Mach 5 on your trolling motor, right?
Yeah.
And you sit over, you got spinning reel and you throw in there and you hit that sun gun in the head.
Yeah.
You know, 9 out of 10 people ain't gonna be able to do that. You know, I don't care what it is. I mean, when I do it, I'm like, oh my God, I just got lucky. You know, and we fish all the time, and you watch these professionals, dude. They are on a different level.
They're just flipping.
I mean, just take-
they're on different
They're just
levels.
flipping over their body.
Just take Tyler when we go with Tyler.
Yeah,
you know?
Tyler.
Like Tyler, freaking like every time I'm in the boat with him, I'm sitting there, I'll miss like 2 times, then I'll hit it. Then Tyler's like, shoot.
Oh, Tyler Stewart,
I'm like,
man.
all right, Tyler, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
When I fish with Tyler, I just sit down in the damn boat. I can't even keep up with him.
I figured out that it's about the knot too. So these guys that are throwing a spin casting, you know, with braid and then
You
fluorocarbon,
talking about the knot?
you got to have the right knot because that way it won't hang up when you're flipping it out there.
Yeah.
You know, and
But they're so good, aren't they?
I learned that the
man.
hard way. He kept getting hit on like the end of the rod.
That's
too.
right,
You know, I was
that's
like,
right.
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
They're so good, and people that hate on that LiveScope shit, I'm like, man, you guys don't have a clue. You're hating on it because it's an idea that you don't understand.
Yeah.
But
Hey, it's here. It's
yeah.
here. So
It's here to
And
stay.
It ain't going nowhere. They got too much
And
money
if
in
you
the game.
don't learn it, you're just going to leave yourself further behind because, I mean, it's inevitable. It's like phones when phones came out. Like, if you didn't ever start using a phone, you're way behind by the time everybody else was. You know what I mean?
So do you see it growing? I mean, where do you see the technology going from there? I mean,
I can tell you this. I'm sponsored by ICU. It's a new monitor. You can get them at Beast Outdoor Innovation / Fishing Stuff in Sherwood. So now we can get our 12s up there, right? Okay, well, he makes them in 18, 20, and 22s. And,
you can mirror it.
huh?
You're talking about
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And so now, you know, you're looking down there at your 12, and that's fine. You know, I'm a little older than you fellas. And I know you can get something to bring it up, but can you imagine an 18 right here and looking at that little jig or whatever you want to do? So I think everybody's going to go. Well, you've seen some of them on the leads. It
No,
makes
I
you
mean,
look-
we got 22s on ours.
oh, okay. So you boys are already up there.
Oh well,
We got the big screen.
We
We got hard
everything.
eyes, you know?
Yeah, okay.
No, we
Okay.
got E612. You got E616s on
Yeah,
the consoles
yeah.
and 22s on the bows.
Okay.
So, I mean, we have all the equipment in the world to use. That's why we understand it. It's hard.
Yeah.
That's why it's hard. And you know, you go from a 22 to a 12, you're like, what the crap?
Ooh, that's what I'm saying. I can't wait. I'm actually getting mine hooked up next week after this season.
Oh, you're gonna
Yeah,
like it.
yeah, we're actually sponsored with Sea Light. Sea Light builds one similar to it.
Okay.
They got 12. They got 16s. They got what? 16s and
16,
22s.
16, 22.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it does make a difference.
And Beast got
it's got to.
Beast got tears his up every time he gets a new one.
Oh.
He flips into it.
All right, I
Yeah, he's
broke
been
one.
through- he's
I
been through like
flipped in
4
and broke
screens.
one. Okay, the other 2 got struck by lightning.
Beast guy's on his third. Beast guy's on his third Sea Light screen.
Third sea light screen, second trolling motor.
They're here's the thing, and we all
I'm rough
know
on
they're
it.
not cheap. So
Yeah, I know
They're
not.
not. No, very costly.
Yeah, a good thing we're sponsored by everybody, huh?
Yeah, no kidding.
Havoc boats.
Yeah, Havoc boats. Yeah.
Yeah, my son's got one, and Kyle, and of course Sassy Shad, that's on my show. She comes on now and then. She works at Genesis of Conway. But anyway, Kyle's got a Havoc boat. So great boats. I'm sponsored by Skeeter / Gregor Marine, which, by the way, is
Gregor.
the biggest. Yes.
Yeah.
Which is the biggest dealership that has y'all's boats.
Yeah.
So that's
he's,
cool.
he's a
That's
great.
cool.
He's a great dealer.
Yeah.
So how you like your Skeeter?
So I've been in every boat.
Yeah.
And I will tell you that I did get my motor flashed, and so
Yeah.
it will run. But if you're on big lakes with big water, I want a Skeeter or I want a Phoenix. I'm sponsored by Skeeter, been with Skeeter 20 years. And I like the storage. I like the Yamaha. I like the way it rolls. I push them. But if somebody come up and said, well, if you had a second choice, then it would go straight to Phoenix or, Phoenix boats, just because I've been on them too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
He
what I got.
Daryl has a Phoenix. I got an Icon. He
I
has
got a Bullet.
Okay. All right. Hey, Bullet's a well-built boat. We already know.
Yeah.
Icon, I don't know enough about because it's fairly new.
Yeah, I mean, I like Icon. I mean, Icon has a big deck. The live wells are good, and it takes
It's a
rough
wheeler
water.
boat, right?
Yeah, it takes water really rough.
Yeah.
I mean, rough. It takes water good. Rough water good. I mean, but
It's got a wide deck.
Wide deck. All of us can fish on
Super
that front
wide
deck.
deck.
you know, Greg Orr's a Icon dealer, but who sponsors us is RTR down there in Orange.
Oh.
down there. That's where you guys built it from, and that's where I got my icon from. So our dealers, help us out a lot too.
Yeah.
But what was amazing for us, a lot of people say, well, why do they, have glass boats? Well, for us, we understand more of the business.
Yep.
What will a fiberglass boat give you over an aluminum boat? And then we don't build a boat that's gonna hang with an icon. I promise you, in rough water.
Yeah.
That's that's a lot of a lot of these people don't understand it. I don't care what kind of aluminum boat you make, if it doesn't have the weight and the dead rise to shed water, it's going to beat the snot out of you in rough water. And and I'm an aluminum guy, but I'm just telling you, the aluminum technology is not there.
And the weight for the wind.
Yeah.
Aluminum boat, heck, you'll stop, you'll start trolling. You get off the trolling motor for 1 second, you're like,
right,
all the way to the other direction.
I would take one though. Let me tell you why.
I mean,
if they say, hey, let me get you, there's places when I'm guiding I can't get into with a fiberglass boat.
Yeah.
There is a bridge over there that you can't get anything under except aluminum boat. Once you get under it, and I don't know if you've heard of Christian Fisher chick.
Yeah, I know you're talking about Christine Fish, Midwest Fishing Girl. Yeah.
She went under it with her kayak, and she had like 40 pounds. I mean, they're back there, right? And so
I think there's certain situations where aluminum's good. Like we build river rats, we build, we got 2172s, center console boats. There's certain situations where aluminum boat will be good. If you can have multiple boats, yes, I would really consider having one. But if you was fishing open water, big water boats, 25-mile-an-hour winds, you really need something that's going to be more buoyant.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time, and it's just our game, our aluminum game isn't where it needs to be for that condition.
Yeah.
For that level of fishing in rough water.
And LiveScope has took these anglers offshore.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the thing about it. And I think a lot of glass companies, I think a lot of the old fiberglass engineering and old designs has been the same since the 80s. So it costs a lot for these companies to adapt to the open shore fishing style.
Yeah.
And if you go to a lake, they're all offshore. They're all offshore. So I think the fishing needs are changing, even in the industry. And I think LiveScope has done that. And I know that's thinking really deep, but majority of the boats are offshore now. And
but y'all concentrate on hunting, though, right?
Well, our duck boat line. We are tiller handle.
Yeah. Okay.
Brush jumping, log jumping, hardcore duck hunting is what we're into. Yeah. We're not into the fishing stuff, Right. Now we do build center consoles for like bays and little rivers, and we build a really, really badass jet boat. So niche market stuff like river fishing, stuff like that.
Trout fishing. Yeah.
Yeah, but catfishing, rivers, big rivers. But open water bass fishing it's not what we're good at.
Yeah.
Not saying we won't get good at it, because there's a reason why we maybe have certain things, but it's always research and development.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
Learning the what we're about to step into is,
because like you said, there is a need for one.
Oh yeah.
If it was done correctly.
If it was done correctly, there's not a boat out there that I would think is correctly compared to an Icon or any boat y'all drive. We've been in 2 or 3 foot rollers out there, 4 foot rollers. I'm thinking, Jesus, man, I'm sure glad we don't have an RDB out here. You know what I mean? Yeah.
We got some pros.
Yeah.
I think John Cox is one of them that runs one. Lee Levacy runs one.
Well, just because they run one doesn't mean it's the best option.
I know. Listen.
I would run one if somebody gave me one.
Let me tell you.
Somebody gives me
I'm just an honest person.
One of the big questions when I go to high school is kids saying, how do you get sponsors? And I will tell you this. Here's the list of mine, right? Because I've been doing this for 30 years, I want the sponsors that I have that back me up, that when I call them, they're going to take care of whoever I'm sending. I don't want somebody giving me something and expect me to push it, and
if
it's
you
not
don't believe
that
it.
good.
Yeah, if you don't believe it. That's the problem. I mean, we get the same deal. I mean, we get sponsored by people, and there's some stuff that we get, and we're not going to mention the names. We're like, man, I don't know about this, you know, and
Because it's your name.
yes,
That, you know,
yeah. So I mean, a lot of these anglers got these limit on boats and stuff like that. There's no way in the world they're saying, hey, you know what, this is the best boat on the market. Bullshit, because there's not one. Now, is there ways to make the boat better? Absolutely. There's ways to make a skeeter better. There's ways to make a Havoc better. There's always a better way to make something better, right? So it just depends on who pays you to say what. I guess the moral of the person. I mean, what they believe in, you know, could be different. But a lot of these people on social media, you see them all the time. They pushing stuff that they don't really like.
No.
You know, and it's just the world we live in.
Greg or Marine. I mean, I love Lisa Murphy to death. I'll do anything for her. She goes the extra mile.
Yeah.
And I want to know that if I help, and I just sold one for them, that they're going to go the extra mile, help them out. The customer, the service after the sale means a ton to me.
Absolutely.
Fletcher Dodge, I'm sponsored by them.
Yep.
I know that Chris and that team, if I send somebody, are not going to blow them off. They're going to help them out. And so it's.
Well, you have a military background too. You're wired different.
Yeah.
You're wired different. I'm a military family too.
Okay.
So, military people are wired different. They look at every local thing. You know, it's different.
40 years. 40 years.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe, right?
Yeah. So it's awesome. There's a lot of good companies out there to work with, and obviously you're doing pretty good at it.
Well, it's been very rewarding. Not all of it's been totally fun, but it's once I retired this January, I've retired after 40 years at Camp Robinson.
Do you miss it?
I miss the people. Where I was a command sergeant major, so I was in the upper part. So if NCO E7 would never see what I see. So I was with the political part, the drama part. What are we going to do if we don't have this money come in from DC type thing, right?
Right.
The training part, the education part, and I don't miss that because it was every day and it was a lot of pressure. So once I retired, my buddy down at Lake Fork said, you've been down here 30 years fishing, 25, 30 years, and you know this lake. Maybe not like him that's been on it every single day for 38 years, but I know it well enough that I can take people out and they can catch fish. We have a good time. Personality alone in the boat is going to, you're going to have a good time, right? Some guys out there, they never say a word. And so you got to be a little different on that. But I've been very blessed. As you know, somebody's truck's out there that's got Havoc boats, it's got your name on it and everything. You have to be somebody. Let's just say you just can't pull up to a strip joint. I'm just going to say that. I don't know if you can say that on the podcast. But you're not going to pull up there in my truck,
Yes.
Big Sarge, and go to a strip joint.
Right.
And so, there's things you got to know that there's people watching all the time.
And then you'll
right.
pull up somewhere, and people are going to come and talk to you
Yeah.
and see what's you got going on.
Yeah.
So it's a full-time thing.
It is. It is. And really taking care of your sponsors. I try my best to go outside the normal person and do videos all the time and make them known that what they're doing. This is off the chart, but I've never had a video just go crazy. And me and my daughter went to Lake Fork 2 Sundays ago. We only had 4 hours to fish. She was driving back another truck for me. I said, come on, we fished. We had a pretty good time, 3 or 4 pounders, right? So there's a bridge, 515 bridge, and on the corner, on the apron part of it, I'm not kidding, 10 feet off of it, there's a rock hump. And every time, I promise you guys, I'm not saying this because I'm here, you get there 30 minutes before dark, put your LiveScope down, and if it's full of bait, you're going to catch one. And I ain't talking about small. Well, she caught her PB. And that thing went 490,000 views. Still rolling.
Yeah, big fish. People like seeing big fish,
do.
especially when
My daughter went crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool, though.
It
People
is.
like to feel the excitement, and it's, man, I wish I could do that.
Yeah.
That's what's so cool about fishing.
It is.
It's fishing's cool.
And people are finding spots like that, like you're talking about, like little hidden gems everywhere. And it's getting easier to find, with the technology.
Shell bed's a huge thing, regardless of what
shell
lake
bed.
go
You
to.
mentioned shell beds a lot, and for our viewers, how do you locate a shell bed on side image? Side scan.
It's going to be bright. I know you go out there a lot. You when you nod your head, when you go to a point that's got current, you know, shell beds, you know, they're going to be some kind of current there. It's not going to be in the back of a hole somewhere 30 feet deep. So main lake points, secondary points, something like that.
Like a super bright return on your side scan.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, what if you want to just check it out? All right, I'm sponsored by Tackle Zombie, which is tungsten lures or tungsten butt weights. We all throw tungsten, right? Well, put you a half ounce or a 3/4 or even ounce Carolina rig on there. Throw it out there, what you think is a shell bed, and you're going to know right off the bat how rough it is. And then just hold on. Maybe something will take it from you.
Like under the bridge.
That's cool.
That's a shell bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen shell beds, but you know, like a lot of people probably don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like,
Or know when to look, you know, like when to be fishing.
Well, and here's the thing too, and whoever's watching this later on, once you think that's a shell bed and you know it is because you just dragged it, go back around and then look at it on your side scan and remember.
No, I don't know what you're talking about dragging. So tell us what are you talking about dragging something across it? Like if you just feel it just hitting stuff, you know, hard, you know.
So there's two
shell.
things that I drag is a big jig and a Carolina rig, and I'm not a huge Carolina rig. I
like Carolina rig.
Well, I use one knot. I don't use 3 knots like some people do.
Yeah.
So anyway, when you throw it out there, you just let's just take a jig because that's where the big money is. You throw it out there, let it go to the bottom. I don't want to throw football jigs, period. And then just get your a 7.5, 8 foot, whatever, and just drag it. And you want that jig head to hit every piece of freaking shell down there, right?
You can feel it.
And when you know it's hitting, you know you're in the right stuff, and she's going to be there and she's going to knock it out of the world. Unless you LiveScope it and you can kind of see them suspended. But we also know with our LiveScope that they could be on the very bottom. And just keep watching though.
Yeah.
Because they'll bubble up now and then like
You
turtles.
see a little flicker.
Yeah. And when they do that, go after them.
Yeah.
So
It is crazy.
That's my biggest problem. I'll get hung up on a little spot. I'll be staring at that screen like, I know you're in there.
Boy,
I know you're in there. Then I start talking to us. Oh, I see you.
When you first start
see you
live
now.
scoping, the number one problem you're gonna have live scoping is throwing at fish that aren't bass.
Yeah, here we go.
The number 2 thing
Yeah.
you're gonna do is you're gonna see a bass, and you're gonna get hung up on it for an hour trying to catch that one fish.
yeah.
And once you overcome those things, though, like you get used to seeing, okay, that's a bass, that's probably a crappie, or that's a gar.
Catfish, man. I was catching catfish in trees last week.
I did that the other
I'm
day.
thinking,
Remember?
I'm thinking I'm throwing a jerkbait through there and wham. But look, I was looking at that. The military, if I could,
Yeah.
the military, where all this started, was I was hooked up. I was not a recruiter, and I told them, "You'll never make me a recruiter." Oh, but you got to you'll never make me a recruiter.
You're a talker.
and you're gonna tell me I had to put 4 people in a month, or else. You take that away, and I'm freeloading, and I can go out and do what I want. Don't hang 4 people over my head. I ain't gonna do it. So, but what I did do is help out their marketing people, and so I got a boat. I got it wrapped in National Guard. I would take people fishing, recruits that may want to joined. They could get in the boat with me. We go fishing, whatever, Arkansas River. And so I got the idea, well, let me go to Channel 4. This is where it all started. So I walked into Channel 4 and I said, who's the head honcho? And I think his name was Austin. This is 18 years ago. So I knocked on his door and he said, yes, sir. I said, hey, I'm Vince Sherrill, Sergeant Major Sherrill, or whatever rank I was. I said, but they call me Big Sarge. And there's one thing that 4711 don't have. He said, what's that? I said, a fishing report. He looked at me. He goes, well, so what are you thinking? And I said, give me 3 minutes during the news. I don't want a commercial. I want it during the news after sports so people are watching, and give me a shot and let's see what happens. And so, all right, I'm going to get you Booker. So he gave me some guy. We went down to the ramp.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I don't even know what to do. The guy's like, I don't know what to do. I said, well, let's go on the water and we'll do one live, right? So we did. 18 takes later, we finally got it down. Well, now, of course, it's one take only, right?
Right.
And so it went from that, I'm still doing it today, like I've got to fish that tournament down in Toledo, so I'll do 2 weeks in a row of fishing reports. And so they aired at noon, and it's shown in, which I didn't know this for a long time, Shreveport, Missouri, and Oklahoma, because they're sister stations. So when they're watching me, they're wanting to know why I'm not giving a report on Toledo Bend, but I didn't know. I thought it was just Arkansas. So we fast forward to Tommy Smith. We all remember Tommy Smith, Magic 105 and the Buzz. He asked me to come in and talk about the Army. I said, all right. So I walked in. I was in uniform, and he goes, oh, God. Tommy Smith goes, I will call you Big Sarge. Is that okay? And that's kind of where the name stuck, right? And so that's where it started as far as the name. And then after Channel 4, I went to Justin Acree, and I said, okay, it's working on TV because everybody's watching. They wouldn't leave me on this long. How about we do it on radio? Yeah, it's all sports. I said, man, come on. I tell you what. Y'all listen to the Buzz, Randy Rainwater?
Yeah.
Drive Time? I'm going to put you on with Drive Time from 6 to 6:30. Let's just give you a shot. He didn't think anything of it, right? Okay, well, before football, so we went 3 months, and his ratings from 6 to 6:30 skyrocketed just to listen to a fishing report for 30 minutes. That's all we did. We didn't go into all this other crap. So Randy called me at the house on the sale, and he goes, Sarge, I was letting you know I got to let you go. Football's about to start, and we're all about football, Thanks for coming on. I said, all right, well, that was fun. I didn't get paid anyway, right? So Justin Acree called me. He said, all right, we're going to give you Sunday. I ain't got a clue if there's anybody listening on Sunday morning because it's all ESPN. But we're going to give you from 8:30 to 10 and let it rock and roll. Well, I'm on my 10th year.
That's good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's cool how that all unwinded, from the very beginning, just walking up, like, hey, I know what you don't have.
Yeah.
And now fast forward, and you've been doing it.
It's been
You enjoy
been
it.
fun.
I mean, obviously you enjoy it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's and here's the thing about guiding. I only do it to help Rick out because he's such a good friend and he's the best on the lake. I get to meet. I had a California group last week, and there's just a bunch of cool people out there.
It is.
It
is.
I'm not saying all of them.
I mean, guide,
Yeah, I'm sure you run
I'm
into
sure
a
there's a
few.
few that's like, I get out my boat. You can't get on my boat fast.
Guide fishing is not easy.
It's not.
It ain't. There's a lot of pressure because they're paying you a lot of money to catch a fish, and when you go to Lake Fork, I don't want the 2-pounder. I came here to catch a big one.
And it's not just about you finding a fish. It's their ability to catch a fish.
Well, there is the problem. And so how many times I had a bunch from Nebraska. It was a mom and dad, 2 sons. The kids were track stars, never fished in their life.
Yeah.
And I said, you've never fished in your life and you come to Lake Fork. Yeah, it's on the bucket list, so we're going to do it. So I basically had to teach them how to do a spinning reel on Lake Fork, a spinning reel. Yeah. And then Mama came up, and I knew in my heart there was one. They were spawning on the old. I love old boat ramps that they never use anymore. So I got that jig. I threw it out there, and I handed it to her. She's up front with me. She goes, "What do?" I said, "Just drag it back real slow. I want you to feel everything." Okay. I turned around and looked at him. I said, "You okay back there?" "Oh, yeah, I'm all right." I turned around. I threw that way. Her line was over here. I said, "You got a fish." "No, I don't feel nothing." I said, "Set the hook." It was a 5-pounder.
Yep.
That's all she needed.
See,
that's what's so hard.
That line jump.
And whenever you're responsible for them to have, the outcome they're looking for, that they're paying for.
Yeah, you got to charge them.
I'm telling you, man, stakes are high.
Yeah.
You're like, are you even going to be able to throw this pole?
No.
Half the time it's no.
And here's the thing, if it's bed fishing, they'll never hit it on the target. So you got to flip it in there for them.
I guarantee it. So how many times have you took people out and not charged them because they just could not get it together?
Well, this is my first year, and it ain't happened yet.
Yeah.
I had a client catch a 8.3, tipped me well for his personal best, and everybody that's gone in my boat, they've at least caught something, but I'm trying to do stuff easy. Carolina rig, I know it's a little tough, but it's dragging.
It's simple for the
crankbait,
user.
but they weren't on a crankbait. Now they are, so that's
Crankbait's pretty demanding though. The energy.
It is,
and the
to throw it.
And your wrists start hurting. And
top water, oh my gosh, one would blow up on it, and you're looking at them. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Set the hook,
Yeah.
But if the weather's right, they come there. Here's the thing: they come there for the experience. I've got a good-looking skeeter. They get in the boat. I don't blow them away on the way back. I'll teach them LiveScope just like I did with the A rig. It's real simple because they can see it.
But it just has to be so cold. It's like,
yeah,
maybe catch. I don't know, but yeah, A rig is easy. You know.
Well, I did it so he could see it.
Yeah.
And I had a tire reef that was about 18 foot deep, and you don't know what's in there until you run something. Here's the tires. You don't know until you run it over it whether they come out of them tires. And so this is what he did. I threw it. He goes, I see it. All right, bring it down. He's way up here. He brought it down. He started bringing it right above, and all these fish started coming out watching. I don't know what they were. They didn't hit it. But at least he got to see what
you're
it does.
He understands kind of how it works.
Yeah.
Then.
You're thinking, thank God. Put it on the show, baby. Put it on the show.
I needed that.
Yeah. I get it. Yeah, but it's also fun helping people too. I could tell you like to help people and you like to be involved.
It's very rewarding when the guy caught it and his son was high-fiving. They were taking pictures. They were sending it back to their family. That part's great.
It don't get no better than that.
But what you don't know is when you meet them that morning at the restaurant and you're looking at them and they're looking at you and, all right, let's get in the boat.
And they're scared.
You don't know.
But but they're scared shitless too. They don't want to disappoint you either.
Yeah.
Like, man, he's going to know.
Yeah, like they want to know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, he's going to know that I've never fished before.
Yeah.
You know, and they're like, dang.
Yeah.
I can see both sides. You know, it'd be nerve-wracking doing it if you've never done it before. And also for your end, you know, you got them out there on a boat.
Yeah.
It would stress me out. If you
I've got a real good friend that, and remember this because some of y'all will go down there, but I met him 3 years ago. It's Coastal Blue Persuasion out of Fort Morgan, Gulf Shores, Orange Beach area.
Yeah.
Okay. And he said, all right, I booked a lot of people through your show, so get your butt down here. I'll go in September. We got on the boat. My friends came with us, and we went out to an oil rig, and every one of us could throw. Even, you know, my wife fishes with me. She could throw, right? He goes, boy, you don't know what kind of relief this is. You know, because he goes through the same thing freshwater does, right?
Yeah.
The only thing is out there, instead of, you know, because I don't want to just pull up to a place and just drop a line and hit the ground and, you know, bobble it and catch fish. Anybody can do that, right?
Right.
I want to throw something at that oil rig and catch something, and it really worked out good. He's another Rick Carter. Rick Carter's the guy at Fork. Well, Captain Franks is the one down at Saltwater, and when you see them, you know, they're two skinny dudes, great personalities, and they can catch fish.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it makes it easier when they know what they're doing.
yeah.
Absolutely.
It also makes you feel bad too when they don't and they're not catching fish and they're paying you. So it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
It's a lot of pressure. I guarantee you. I don't want no part of that.
But you never know. You know, that person you might take has such a good time, they might get into it and start doing them themselves, you know.
Oh yeah, LiveScope is good for that.
It is good.
Yeah,
You
once
know.
people can see what they're actually doing, then they'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
You know, but
It is. I'm ready to go fishing now. I'm talking all this fishing. You got a tournament coming up.
So here's the thing. Bob Seeley started Seeley's Big Bass, and we're talking 1.5 million. He don't play. I'm talking about every hour is huge. And before, I never could fish these because I was always military trained. And so Rick knows Toledo. Larry Nixon, of course, calls the show. He used to guide there. And so I don't know if y'all know this, but Toledo is 90 miles long.
Yeah, it is,
God
yeah.
almighty.
Long.
Whoo! Anyway, he's got some holes. And I said, well, Chris wants us to come down there, so I'm leaving Thursday. I'll get there about 5 o'clock. There's a whole bunch of vendors that want to meet me, and we'll do some videos. And then Friday is when it starts. I've only missed my radio show one time in 10 years. So I'm giving it to Drop Shot and Carolina Rig and whoever else we can get in there to do it. But I am going to do a live feed. If you watch Chris Zaldine, and I don't have the technology nor the money to do this Starlink thing that they put on their boats.
Yeah.
And so when Chris took off at Lake Fork, you seen him sitting there all the way to running to fishing for 8 hours. Okay, so you're either going to like it or you're not going to like it. If you like Chris, you're going to watch him, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So what I wanted, I don't have all that, so I'm setting up my YouTube with the thing, and then, you know, once we sit down, I'm going to have it plugged in hot, and I'm going to try my YouTube channel and just see what happens.
Yeah.
Because we will catch fish, and we know that somebody caught a 15-pounder out of there or something.
Goodness.
You know, I mean, it's
I
going to
doubt
take,
it.
it's going. Sam Rayburn, 11-4 won the Seeley Big Bass, And so I have to stop guiding in June just so I can fish the Sealy Big Bass on Fork in September. You got to stay off the water. Well, you can't guide for 90 days. You can be on the water, you just can't guide for 90 days. And I'm telling you guys, I'm going to try to win that puppy,
I hope you do.
because you talking about an offshore bite, and you get a hold of these ponds and stuff, and you fish. A lot of these guys, let's say that's a pond, they put brush piles around the levee part of it. Man,
Some good fishing.
ooh, yeah,
Get
man.
me all fired up.
I'm
too.
ready to go.
Made me want to go to
I'm-
Lake Fort.
Yeah, I'm ready to go
See what it's
fishing.
about.
Yeah, well, I'll find these ponds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what we're looking for now.
Did you know about the ponds?
I know nothing about it.
I have to
once.
hop
didn't
on
know.
Google
I've only been
Maps.
in Lake Fort once.
Well-
I woke up like 1 o'clock, drove down there.
What are y'all running? Like Lawrence Hummingbird?
Hummingbird. We have Garmin.
I got just going.
Okay. So Lawrence, I'm not sure about the other ones. Rick Carter on his steering wheel here, 12 has Lawrence, and then he has a Garmin up front. But he has what you call a pre-impoundment chip. Pop it in. It's got everything when the lake wasn't full. So you see houses, you see roads, you see. Because I'm wondering, how in the world is he running 500 yards from the buoy? Well, he said, well, look over here. You look over there, and ain't nothing but a cowfish, just a field. There's no trees. And so can you imagine if everybody could get a hold of something like that? Because that's where you see the ponds
Yeah.
and the fence lines or anything that you would never see unless you went out there and did a whole bunch of scanning.
I'll be damned.
Yeah.
I
Does he
didn't
sell
know
those
that.
chips? I know there's people sell chips like that. Does he sell his?
They actually sell them right there at Lake Fort Marina, $200, something like that, for that chip.
I'll be damned.
Well worth it.
You know it. Like, save you a lot of time.
Somebody getting $600.
I was just thinking that.
It would
There's
it would
three
save
of
you.
us.
Hey, it'd save you $200 of fuel scanning. You know, if you were
Oh,
to scan
yeah.
all that.
Say more than say you a lower unit.
And the new update on Hummingbird. So I got two Hummingbirds. I got two 12s here. I got a 12 and then my Garmin on top of it. So the new chip, or not the new chip, but the new update that I did, when I put in at Lake Fork about 3 months ago, I'm looking at all these dots, these dotted lines, and I'm going, no, it can't be my old trails. It wasn't. It was the boat lanes going into, y'all been on Fork, you know how it's just like Conway, right? So when you're running, you can run into an actual cove now, follow that dotted line, and you can get all the way to the back, where before, once you come off the channel, shut her down, get you something to drink, it's going to take you 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you can just run it.
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yep. Well, I'm pumped up. I'm ready to go.
Yeah,
I'm
we're
ready to
actually
do it.
leaving tomorrow.
Where y'all headed?
Caney.
Oh, that's right, Taney. All right.
Yeah, we're doing the Road to the Pro.
Road to Pro starts.
That's right.
Have you told them about that?
Yeah, we mentioned it a little bit earlier, but basically Tyler Stewart's going to be taking us under his wing and coaching us and getting us 3 ready for tournaments.
Okay.
Yeah, big
and
tournaments.
he's going to basically teach us the fundamentals. The what to do, what not to
And
do.
we know a lot, but we don't know that pace.
Because
So now, help me out. Y'all going to fish tournaments, or you going to podcast tournaments?
to fish tournaments.
We're
Okay.
actually going to fish. I mean, we're actually going to go all
Yeah.
the way.
Yeah, I
Toyota
gotcha.
Series.
Because we've fished alongside Tyler, just fun fishing,
Right.
And we compete against ourselves for the most part, and it's the way he moves, the way he adapts to what's going on, is a completely different level.
But
The
the way I see it, there's a lot of kids out there that wants to do that or do what you're doing, and I think it's a way to show people that it's possible. I'm 46 years old.
Yeah.
So for me to do something like that, it'd be crazy to learn it. And is it possible for a pro to take somebody on their wing for 6 months and make them tournament ready? I mean, can it be done, or is it all talent?
Well,
what is it?
And here's the thing. I mean, you're talking about different types of climate, weather types. So, is 6 months going to get you covered down for when there's a tournament when the water temperature is 40, compared to when the water temperature is 90? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but can he teach you all that? Can he fish? You're right. You're saying that the water temperature right now is in the
Different,
upper
you know.
70s, and it's going to get down in what?
Yeah. So what's your
40s,
strategy?
50s?
So when you
Yeah.
pull up to a lake,
Yeah.
what's your strategy?
Yes,
Yep.
break the lake down. Can normal people break a lake down and find fish? Because you know what, as I do, you can go to a random lake and not catch a fish, but you watch the pros; they'll go in there and catch 22 pounds.
Yeah.
So what do they do? You know, and I think to make a show out of that, it'd be pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
Like what goes through a professional's head? Like how does he break this down? How does he deal with the pressure? How does he? I mean, he's fishing for money. That's how he makes his living. So, I think
It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be fun.
It's going to be a cool
gonna be
show.
exciting.
Also, Tyler will bring other anglers in to judge us, like kind of like American Idol,
Like
kinda,
score
know?
you. know?
Yeah.
Get
Score
scored.
you.
Yeah.
You know, how is Tim dealing with the deep water fishing? How is Daryl's not huge on live scoping. You know, of course I do. I love it. So he has his weaknesses. I got my weaknesses, and he got his weaknesses. So we'll be able to judge each other. You know, say, hey man, you should have been throwing this. You should have been throwing this. I mean, try this. Your line's too thick. You know, what kind of pole you throwing?
Yeah.
I mean, so there's a lot to it. You know, the technology and the hooks and the fishing line, like you said earlier.
You don't want to throw a 6.6 with a 5XD?
Yeah.
That's somebody.
yeah.
I'm not gonna say who
Might
did
be
something like
working
that.
yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody may not have done that.
It was tough.
Everybody has a confidence bait.
Yes.
And if you don't, you need one.
I
Yeah.
got mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, shaky head.
We all know
Shaky
yours.
shaky head. I mean, he throws shaky head almost all the time, and in some situations, shaky head's not gonna get it done.
Yeah.
It
It does a lot though.
9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
If I can't get bit, I'm picking it up.
I mean, Rick's the best out there, and for clients that never fished for in their entire life, he'll throw a wacky all day for them to catch fish, and they will catch fish all day.
Yeah.
So, and there's different ways you can rig it so they don't get hung up.
yeah. Weedless wacky.
is.
Everybody's on the Nico train now, which is pretty much the same thing.
Yep, you're right.
It is. LiveScope's brought that, That's one thing that really started getting pushed through LiveScope.
Yeah. Freaking Nico. Everybody's throwing Nico now.
I was watching him yesterday where he was actually looking and he was throwing a crankbait. So it's
Which is different.
yeah.
That's kind of crazy.
Well, I'm not a big crankbait thrower. That's
Yeah.
something I want to throw.
I got pissed off the other day throwing it.
Hey, where you damn are?
Hey, it'll wear you out,
Like,
boy.
I'm like, this is stupid.
To do that for 8 hours straight.
Yeah.
Well, especially a big one.
Yeah.
Like,
Or-
you got
or
a
a glad
6XD.
Oh,
You
yeah.
cranking a
Throw it-
6XD all day?
Yeah, throw a glad bait.
Tyler got on one knee. He was like, I'm like, no.
You gotta have
nope.
That's too much.
If
dude.
that's what it
He
takes,
says,
I don't
burn
want
it. He says, burn it through there. He says, I'm burning it. I got a 5 in here.
If that's what it takes, I don't want anything to do with it.
I was Tyler, you're sweating,
You
dude.
get done for the day and your hands just like all cramped
Just
up.
give me a big jig or
Hey,
something.
I know we've been on an hour. Can I mention these?
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
So, Tackle Zombie guys, listen. If you, I'll have a discount code for you, but we all need tungsten weights. We know. Pro Glide is cleans your boats and stuff. He's a cool dude. He's got the biggest car wash in Hot Springs on Hignett Ferry. Call Pro Glide. Beast Outdoor Innovations, I told you about them. He makes all the mounts and does all the wiring. Gregor Marine, of course, Fletcher Dodge. California Jigs. He makes my own jigs. So if I come up with a weird color, then he does it for me, and he'll do it for y'all too. So that's pretty cool. Shelter Insurance, Jamie Marsh, Stanley's Hardware, Moit's RV, Fishing Stuff, Holiday Inn Suites of Russellville, ICU Monitors, Lake Fork Marina, Monster Lithium. What kind of batteries y'all running?
Pro Guide is what I run.
So hold on, Lose Reel is my last one. So here's the thing. I had a Pro Glide back there. I had 2 Monsters, 36 tied together. Okay, 72, and then I had a Pro Glide. Well, I was fishing, God, if you can believe this, with clients, and my freaking motor just blah. I mean, I had no power whatsoever. So here's a little tip: always keep your power pack in there. So I went back there, and it started up and everything, and I'm like, man, there's something wrong. There's something wrong. So I called Dustin, who has got a guide service there at Lake Greason, Crappie Guide. And he goes, call Randy at Monster Lithium because you need to be taking care of what you're doing. So I called him. He's right there in Arkadelphia. Get your butt down here. So I did. And he replaced my 2 36s, and he gave me a starting battery. Didn't know it. They have a starting battery, Monster Lithium. And then our big old charging systems that we have? Well, this one's like this. And it's not even that heavy. And so all that weight's gone. And I promise you guys, I fished 3 days, forgot my extension cord, and it was still 70%.
Wow.
That was all day. And
Pretty
so, you know, I know Monster lithiums, you know, lithium batteries are pricey anyway. But anybody listening and watching,
Holy
give
cow.
Randy a call.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we need a list of all of your sponsors. That way, our guys
List them
can
for
put
you.
them in the video.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That'd be nice.
Absolutely. And Big Sarge, thanks for coming, man.
Man, and listen, y'all just ain't around the block, and I'm sorry it took me this long.
Oh, it's okay.
all
But
good.
it's
Everybody's
only
busy.
It's only an hour and a half. I live in BB, and so but this was fun. I appreciate it. I will say this: I have to anytime that I have another boat company, I have to call Lisa. I don't want to burn no
Right.
bridges.
Well, Lisa's a
Oh, you know what she told me? She goes,
owns
"They're
all that."
huge, baby. Get over there."
yeah, she's all
I said, "Well,
about.
I'm headed that way."
Yeah, she's all about some havoc. I promise
Yeah,
you.
she said, "Just let me know when it's going to be aired." And somebody told me Monday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
Oh, yeah,
awesome,
she's
man.
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think her and my wife talks a lot. Or
Yeah.
I know they got phone numbers. I know that.
Good looking lady too.
Yeah.
She could be a model for the Havoc boats.
Hey, anytime.
Well, they got them. They got them.
Hey, we do have bikini swimsuits coming out pretty soon.
Yeah, they'll be coming out here pretty soon. So
For
for,
the
summer, y'all
ladies?
get ready.
They're black and green, I guess, and they got Havoc logo on them. So
Yeah.
It's gonna be good stuff.
all about the bikinis now.
Big Sarge, for everybody listening that want to find you, how can we find you on social or wherever?
Okay, so I do have Big Sarge, but Vince Sherrill, SHERRILL, is Facebook. TikTok is big.sarge64. And what I'm trying to build up is YouTube. That's where you make money.
Yeah.
And that's Fishing with Big Sarge YouTube channel. So Fishing with Big Sarge, I will be live. If best of my knowledge how to do this, I will be live during the Sealy Big Bass Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So you watch us catch fish. If we don't catch fish, whatever. But YouTube is where the money is.
Well, hopefully you catch fish.
I think you catch.
We're going to catch fish, and here's the thing: he's got a ditch that he promised me. Listen, and he used to. I mean, he was an FLW pro. He said, "Get your jig and get your crankbait." But the beauty is, they're only 5 minutes from the ramp. So these guys that are going to go way up here or wherever, it's going to take them. You know, we may have a 4-pounder we can run in there and bust an hour.
Right.
Just paid my money back, and then after that, it's all
That's
profit.
right. Yeah, that's right. Hey,
I got you.
I don't
I like
blame you
the
there. It
strategy.
sounds like a good game plan to me.
Just
I
catch
like
a 4-pounder every hour and get some money.
That's right.
Get
That's
some
right.
money every hour. That's the real winner.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Why it's
Havoc
hot.
both, man. I appreciate y'all.
Yeah,
Yes,
no
sir.
problem,
Thank
no
you for
problem.
coming. And guys, that wraps this up. Everybody leave a like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. We'll catch you on the next one.